Hi students, myself Tanmoy Datto, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, JS College of Engineering, welcome you all in my fourth lecture of stereochemistry. You know, previously we discussed about the basic concept of the stereochemistry, like starting from the your some kinds of concept of the isomer, there different kinds of isomer present, the classification we discussed about. Then we discussed about the different types of projection like Fischer projection, Newman projection, Schwarz projection, etc., etc. But today we'll discuss about the most important thing of the stereochemistry, that is the nomenclature. Okay, like R and S. Okay, so there are two kinds of nomenclature. You know, this is very important for your stereochemistry purpose. So there are two kinds of nomenclatures are the R and S, and that is the D and L. Okay, so R, S and D, L, that's two types of nomenclature we will discuss. And previous class a little bit we discussed about the enantiomer and diastereomer. Today I will again discuss in details that the few examples of the enantiomer, diastereomer, homomer. Okay, because these examples are very important for your exam purpose. So starting with the last part of the previous class, like diastereomer, enantiomer and diastereomer, then we will move to the homomer also. Okay, so first of all, look here that when we discussed about the enantiomer, that I told you that there should be mirror image relationship. Like if it is the example of any compound like it is the COOH, it is the COOH, it is the H, it is the H, and here if it is the H, OH, OH and H, OH. So I told you this is the meso compound. Okay, why this is the meso compound? Because this compound, you know, this compound has such kind of here it is the plane of symmetry. You can cut the compound in two equal half. Okay, so if it is possible to cut the compound in two equal half, then this compound will not be optically active. Okay, that means it is not chiral compound. There are so many linked terms are there. So if the compound it is not optically, first of all it is not optically active. So not optically active means I already told you that what is the meaning of the term optically active. So optically active means it will rotate the plane of plane polarized light. Okay, so if it is the not optically active, that means it is unable to rotate the plane of the plane polarized light. Why not optically active? Because it is not chiral. The compound is not chiral. Why not chiral? Because the compound has the plane of symmetry, because the compound has the sigma. Okay, so that's why it is not the it has no enantiomeric relationship, or it has no non-superimposable structure. Okay, so that's why it is called, the name of the compound, this is called actually meso compound. Okay, or mesotartaric acid. Okay, so this is the meso compound. Meso compound means, what is the meaning of the meso compound? Meso compound means this compound has no mirror image structure, mirror image relationship, non-superimposable mirror image relationship. Because if you take the mirror image of this compound, you will see after 180-degree rotation you will get the same compound. Okay, so for the same compound I can draw another structure also. Okay, I can draw another structure also for the same compound. Look here, so if I draw the structure, it is the same compound. Okay, same compound, I can draw the structure of the same compound in this way. It will be H, it will be OH, and it will be H, it will be OH, and it will be COOH. Okay, this is the structure of the same compound. So this compound has the active compound. Okay, this is the active compound. Why it is the active compound? Because this compound has mirror non-superimposable mirror image relationship. Because if you take the structure of the compound, okay, in the mirror, then you will see that what structure you will obtain. I am drawing here what structure you will obtain. This structure actually optically active, or this structure is it seems like at a glance that if you rotate the 180 degree, then the compound will be almost it will be overlap with the previous compound. Okay, but it is not right. You can check, or you can imagine, you can draw in your copy, then try and to imagine that after 180 degree rotation, is it possible that it will overlap with the with this compound or not? It will not be overlap. So that's why it is called non superimposable mirror image. Okay, so that's why these two compounds are optically active compound, okay, or enantiomer with each other. So what is the meaning of enantiomer? Enantiomer means it should have the non superimposable mirror image relationship, then only it is called the enantiomer with respect to each other. So now if these are the enantiomer which each other, these are the, what is the relationship between these two compounds? These are the enantiomer which each other. Okay, this is the enantiomeric relationship. Okay, enantiomeric relationship. This is the enantiomer with each other. Okay, with one with respect to other. So now what is the diastereomer? Diastereomer means there will be no mirror image relationship. Okay, there will be no mirror image relationship, either superimposable or non superimposable. This is the another case. Okay, but it will not have any kind of mirror image relationship. Okay, I will show you that for this compound, if you take the meso compound, the example of the meso compound, if I draw here the example of the meso compound, look, this is the example of the meso compound. Meso compound means it is the optically inactive compound. Okay, so this is the example of meso compound. This is the example of meso compound, and on the other hand, I will take any of the one optically active compound. There are two enantiomeric structure. I will take any one of them as the to compare with the meso compound. Okay, so I will if I will take, so this is the H, OH, then again H, OH, and then C double H. Okay, so look there. So there is no mirror image relationship. If you look carefully, there is no mirror image relationship. So if there no mirror image relationship, we call, what is the relation between these two? We call these two are diastereoisomer. Okay, so these two are diastereoisomer. Keep in mind. Okay, so what is the diastereoisomer? Diastereoisomer means there will be no mirror image relationship. Okay, so one is the meso compound, another is the optically active compound. So these two, one another, is the diastereoisomer. Now I'll show you that what is the homomer. Okay, what is the homomer? Homomer is very simple. Okay, so if I give you the examples of these two compounds, what is the, then you have to tell me that what is the relationship between these two compounds. Okay, if I give you this compound, if I give you this compound, okay, this is the one compound, this is the one compound, and this is the another compound. Okay, this is the another compound. So just tell me what is the relationship between these two compounds. Okay, so just you have to tell me that what is the relationship between these two compounds, because these two compounds maybe you can say in the exam time that what is the relationship between these two compounds. So these two are actually homomer. Okay, homomer means they are actually same compound, so it looks like at a glance that it may be a mirror image relationship. Okay, it may be mirror image relationship, but actually not. But I told you that if it is superimposable mirror image, that means it is the homomer. They are the homomer. If they are non superimposable mirror image, that means they are the enantiomer. Keep in mind. Okay, if it is superimposable in which point of view? You know, you can rotate the Fisher projection in 180 degree. Okay, that is in permission. of rotation of 180 degree. If there is a permission of the rotation of the 180 degree, if you rotate the compound 180 degree, it exactly overlap with this compound. Okay, exactly it will overlap with this compound. So that indicates that these two are homomer, these two are not the enantiomer. Okay, so it should be clear to you that which is the homomer, which is the enantiomer, which is the diastereomer. That all the things should be clear to you. Okay, but I will give you one example, then you have to tell me that what is the relationship between that two. These two are homomer, there is no question about this. These two are homomer because if you rotate 180 degree, because there are two CH group in the both case, there is the CH group, there is the CH group, here is the CH. So if you rotate, there will be no effect. But if I give you another example related to this, like if I supply you this example for the consideration, then you have to tell me that what is the relationship between these two compounds. Okay, either they are homomer or enantiomer or like that. Okay, you have to tell me. This is very interesting. Okay, so if I give you the example of these two compounds, like here it is the CHO and here it is the CHO, then tell me that what is the relationship between the two compounds, either their diastereomer, either homomer, either enantiomer. Now the relationship between these two compounds they are actually enantiomer. They become the enantiomer because these two groups are changed. So you can't rotate 180 degree, because if you rotate the 180 degree, then what happened? Then what happened? Then this group will come here. Okay, so that means it will not overlap with each other. If you rotate the 180 degree, then if the upper side group and the lower side group are different, if they are not same, if you rotate the 180 degree, these will not overlap with each other. Okay, so now they become the enantiomer. Okay, because now it is the non-superimposable mirror image. So now they are enantiomer. Okay, keep in mind in this way. This is very much interesting and very much important also. Now they are the enantiomer because there is not the permission of the rotation of a 180 degree. So that indicate that non-superimposable mirror image. When there is a scope of the non-superimposable mirror image, then we call this is actually the enantiomer. Okay, I'll give you another example. Okay, so I told you in one of my previous class that there is if there is any compound, like the compound is like CH3, then OH, and here C2H5 for example. Then I told you that there is a permission of the Fischer projection that you can complete a triangle. Okay, triangle means this CH3 may come here, H may go here, and OH may go here. Then if you write down again the compound after completion of the triangle, then the compound become what will be the compound? The compound will be here, it will be OH, here it will be H, and here it will be CH3, and here it will be C2H5. So if suppose in your question paper, if these two examples are available as a question, this is the one compound, example of one compound, and this is the example of the another compound. Okay, this is the example of the another compound, and it is asked in the question paper that what is the relation between these two. So what will be the answer? Yes, what will be the answer? Yes, the answer will be homomer. They are actually homomer because I told you this is the same compound. When they are same compound, these are homomer. These are actually homomer. Why homomer? Because these are actually same compound. Okay, isn't it? So if they are same compound, obviously you have to consider as the homomer. So this is all about that's all about your homomer, diastereomer, enantiomer. Okay, this some factors which you have to keep in mind regarding the homomer, enantiomer, and the diastereoisomer. Okay, So now I'll move to the most important topic of the that there are two types of nomenclature present. Okay, first of all I'll show you that what is the DL nomenclature, then I'll show you the RS nomenclature. So DL nomenclature, first of all you have to keep in mind it is mainly or majorly it is applicable for the carbohydrates. Okay, for the carbohydrates, okay, any kind of sugar, okay, carbohydrates. So now I will show you one example of the first of all understand DL, then I will show you the example of the amino acid and the carbohydrates. Okay, so if you think about the carbohydrates, then I first of all I will give you the most simplest example of the carbohydrates. There's normally the main backbone of the carbohydrate become that CHO, that is a CHO, then here maybe H, OH and CH2OH. Now what is the meaning of the D and L? D and L you have to keep in mind from the point of view that if the most priority group in this axis, if you take it as the axis, okay, that means if in the suppose it is the x-axis, so if in the x-axis direction, then in which side the most priority group, here most priority group is the OH. Okay, most priority group, how you can understand, I told you from the point of view of the atomic number. So which in which side the most priority group exists depending on this fact. Okay, in the horizontal direction, or x-axis, whatever. So in this direction, which side the most priority group exists will give the nomenclature on D on L. So what is the meaning of A, D and L? L means if it is present in the left side, okay, then L, and if it is present on the D means if it is present on the right side, okay, then it will be on the D. So D means right side, L means left side. So here what will be the nomenclature? The nomenclature will be here. The nomenclature will be it is the right side. Okay, so right side in the horizontal direction. So if it is right side, then obviously it will be the D. Okay, so the compound has the nomenclature D. Okay, so it is a simple example of the carbohydrate. But if the chain is the long, then maybe long chain exists, then how we can give the name D or L? It is the simplest chain. Okay, so H and OH, if OH is the right side, then it is taken as the D. Now look here, that if I take the example of like this, like starting from the CHO, then for example H, OH, then H, OH, H, then for example I am taking CH2OH. Okay, in the lower position CH2OH. Then you have to tell me that how is it possible to give the DL nomenclature, because what I told you that you have to consider the horizontal axis. So there are so many horizontal axes that are present here. So how is it possible? So you have to take the last to last carbon, or from the below position the first chiral carbon. So you have to consider the last chiral carbon or last to last carbon. Okay, so this chiral carbon you have to consider for the DL nomenclature. Keep in mind this chiral carbon is important. Last chiral carbon, if you consider the downside, last chiral carbon you have to consider for DL nomenclature, or last to last only carbon. Okay, that means this carbon is important, so here it is the right side, so it will be nomenclature will be D. Okay, it starts with the D, it's not L. For any compound, if OH is the left side here, then there will be L. Okay, L means left side, D means right side. But we have to keep in mind, if there is so many horizontal bonds are there, you have to consider the bond of the last chiral carbon. Okay, this is very important. So this is for example of the your carbohydrate. I can give you example of the amino acid. So I can give you the most simple example of the amino acid also, like alanine. Okay, so what is the example of the if I take the example in case of amino acid, you know that two main groups are there. One will be COOH, another will be NH2. These two groups are very important because it is the main group of the amino acid. So it will be H and it will be CH3, the most simple example of the amino acid. Okay, now if you consider this example, then this NH2, this is in the left side. Okay, if it is in the left side, because in case of NH2 and H, which is the higher priority? NH2 will be higher priority because I told you that you have to consider the atomic number. So if you consider the atomic number, obviously NH2 will get the priority over H. So that's why it is NH2 will be left side. So the name of the amino acid will be, or it is categorized as the L amino acid. So if NH2 will be right side, then it is categorized as the D. The most important part, that is the RS nomenclature. Okay, RS nomenclature. How is it possible to do the RS nomenclature? If you think about the RS nomenclature, then first of all you have to know some points. Points means before going to RS nomenclature, you have to understand the priority order of the atoms. Okay, because there are 4 atoms. If I write down here, there are 4 atoms with the carbon A, B, C, D. So first step of the RS nomenclature, this you have to give the order of the 4 compounds attached to the chiral carbon. Okay, so either 1, 2, 3, 4 or ABCD priority order. Okay, so what will be the priority order? Priority order will be, first priority will be A, then B, then C, then D. If you write down ABCD or give in this way 1, 2, 3, 4 according to the priority order. Now the main question here arises here, that how we can put the 1, 2, 3, 4 that these numbers, or how we can understand which group get the priority first, then over other group. Okay, for this case there are some rules are there. Okay, so I'll tell you one by one rule. First of all, first rule is that that you have to check the atomic number Okay, you have to check the atomic number. Okay, so atomic number of the attached atom. Okay, atomic number of the attached atom, atomic number of the attached atom, with carbon. Carbon means chiral carbon. Okay, you have to first check the check the atomic number of the atoms which are attached with the chiral carbon. For example, I can give you one example, then it will be more clear to you. So first of all, if the example is like that it is CH3OH, it may be NH2, it may be H. So how we can write down the give the priority order as the 1, 2, 3, 4? We can give the priority order in this way, that obviously NH2 will be 1 because NH2 has the higher atomic number. It will be 2, it will be 3, or you can give the ABCD also. Here is the 4. Okay, so directly look here, their atomic numbers are same. Atomic numbers are main priority order. Okay, but if the compound is like that, if I give you the example of the compound like that there, here it is the CH3, here it is the C2H5, here it is the H, and here it is the OH. So now the question arises that OH, it will get the first priority because it's the higher atomic number. If you compare the 4 compounds, it is the higher and it is the lower. But what happened with these two compounds, CH3 and C2H5? Because CH3 and C2H5 both attached with the carbon. Okay, isn't it? So if both attached with the carbon, then we have to apply the second rule, okay, of the RS nomenclature. Second rule means when the directly attached atoms are same, we have to move to the next atom. In next atom, in which case there are the higher atomic number, we will consider this as the first. Okay, I will show you in between CH3 and C2H5. If you consider CH3 means, what is the CH3? Here is the H, here is the H, and here is the H. But if you compare, or if you take C2H5, then it will be, here is the C, here is the H, here is the H, it is good, but here again it is the CH3. So it is the this type and it is this type. Okay, now compare, the two hydrogens are there. Okay, if two hydrogens are there, two hydrogens are cancel out. Here also two hydrogens are there, so two hydrogens are cancel out. But that in the third case, two hydrogens cancel out means it is the same, so we can't get any, we can differentiate with respect to these two hydrogens. Okay, that's why I am telling. And but in the third case, look here hydrogen, but here carbon attached with the compound, isn't it? In the third case, there hydrogen attached, and in the C2H5 there carbon attached. So obviously here we can differentiate. Carbon has the higher atomic number with respect to hydrogen, so we can give this is the 3 and this is the this is the 2, because after 1, this is the in between these two, 1 will be 2, 1 will be 3, so it is the 2 and it is the 3. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 in this way. So what I told you, that first condition was that you have to consider the atomic number of the attached atom. Second condition, if the attached atom, directly attached atom atomic number is same, then we have to move to the next atom for the comparison purpose. Okay, third condition, isotopes have the same atomic number, but in isotopes which have the higher mass number, it will get the priority. For example, deuterium, it get priority over the hydrogen. Okay, so which isotopes has the higher atomic higher mass number, it will get the priority over other. Okay, in the fourth case, and another case is the fourth case is that in the fourth case, look here, that if there is any case of double bond, like if the compound is like that, this H, how we can compare HC double bond O for any suppose it is attached with any group. Okay, in this way. So how we can compare, because double bond means it is not possible to compare, so you can consider the double bond in this way. Just break the double bond in this way. Break means for your imagination purpose, for your comparison purpose, you can write down the compound in this way. For each and every double bond, the element is attached. Okay, like it is like this, O. For the comparison purpose, you can take it in this way. Okay, what I am telling, for each and every double bond, just take each and every double bond is attached with the oxygen atom. There are two bonds attached with the oxygen, so just think that two bonds are separately, it will attached with the double bond. So then when you will compare, it will be more helpful to compare with the other compounds. Okay, it will be more helpful. So that's why I am telling that when you compare, just if there is any case of double bond, how many, if there is any triple bond. Okay, if there is any triple bond, then you have to take it that the three bonds are actually three bonds are actually each and every bond connected with the carbon. Okay, each and every bond each are connected with the carbon. You have to keep in these things. Okay, if double bond, triple bonds, whatever, or if these atoms are actually called phantom atoms, that means it is the imaginary atoms, because it is only for to collect the priority order. That's why I am telling you can check the priority order in this way. Now come to the RS nomenclature. There is a rule. I will tell you the rule. Just keep in mind in this way that the rule is called actually very good method. Okay, so why I am telling very good method, you have to understand. Very good method, very good method. Okay, why it is called very good method? It is for tricks purpose. Actually, there is not any hard and fast rule for these things actually. So very good method means here concentrate Y and D. So if I draw any of the structure in the Fischer projection, then which is the y axis? This is the y axis. Okay, So if in the y-axis, D or 4, whatever, if you give the priority order according to the 1 2 3 4, then it will be 4. If you give the priority order ABCD, then it will be D. If the fourth group or the D, that means according to priority order, if D is the y-axis, then if the rotation will be clockwise, then it is taken as the R. If the rotation is the anti-clockwise, if it will be taken as the S. Keep in mind, if D will be in y-axis or fourth priority group will be in y-axis, then rotation according to a clockwise direction it will be R. Rotation according to anti-clockwise direction it will be S. Okay, so example, what will be the example? So we can take it the common example, like very simple example, like this compound. Okay, CH3 H OH and F. Okay, most common example. Just first of all, what is your duty? Your duty is to check the priority order and you have to put the name. So I will give you the 1 2 3 4, or you may write down the ABCD also. So if I give the atomic number, if I give it atomic number 1, F will be 1, oxygen will be 2, it will be 3, and hydrogen will be 4, isn't it? So now if it is 1 2 3 4, then look, 4 or D group, it is the in the y-axis, isn't it? This is the y-axis, actually it is in the y-axis. So if it is in y-axis, then what I told you, that clockwise direction R, anti-clockwise direction S. Now what is the clockwise and what is the anti-clockwise? Clockwise, anti-clockwise means just leave the fourth group. Okay, 1 2 3. So if you check the rotation of the direction, the rotation of the direction will be like this. This is the rotation direction, 1 2 3, from 1 to 3. So this is actually clockwise or anti-clockwise. This is clockwise. Okay, so if this is the clockwise direction, then it will be the nomenclature of the compound will be R. This is very important, you have to keep in mind. This is the example of the R compound. Okay, so now if this is the y-axis, if this is not in the y-axis, then what happened? If this is not in the y-axis, you have to keep in mind, then it will be opposite that of y-axis. That means what I told you that if the fourth priority group is in the y-axis, then clockwise direction will be R and anti-clockwise direction will be S. It's simple. But if the fourth position group is the x-axis, then what happened? Then clockwise will be S. Simple. Clockwise will be S and anti-clockwise will be R, isn't it? So that means if the fourth position group will be, you have to just keep in mind, it will be more simple for you, that just keep in mind in one direction or one way or one formula, otherwise it will be more confusing in the exam time. Okay, if it is in the I'll give you one, so just keep in mind this formula, then I will give you some examples also. Okay, so if it is the in the way of, if it is in the way of like H OH CH3 and here it is the Cl. Okay, so just if it is 1, it is 2, it is 3, it is 4. So same formula, 4, it is the 4 in the y-axis. So if 4 is the y-axis, then its rotation will be 1 2 3. 1 2 3 means it is the clockwise, it is again it is the R. Okay, but if it is in the way of, I will give you another example. So look the another example here, that if I draw the structure of this compound like CH3 C2H5 HOH. Now it is one, it is 1, and then it is 2, then it is 3, then it is the 4. Okay, so if you consider 1 2 3 4, then what happened? What will be its direction? Its direction will be 1 2 3. So 1 2 3, but here look here, 4 is the x axis, not in the y axis. Okay, so first of all try to understand that in which direction the rotation is, in which direction it is actually anti-clockwise direction. So if it is anti-clockwise direction, it is not clockwise direction. Think if it is anti-clockwise direction, then if 4 is the y axis, then it will be s, isn't it? If 4 back positive means if 4 is the y axis, then clockwise is the r and anti-clockwise is the s. Okay, so here according to, if 4 become the y axis, it will be the s, as it is the anti-clockwise direction. But here 4 is the x axis, so expected it will be actually r. It should be s if 4 is the y axis, but as 4 is the x axis, it will be opposite. So if in the case of 4 is the y axis, if it will be s. So if 4 is the x axis, it will be opposite, that is the r. Clear? So here anti-clockwise direction means r, because 4 is the x axis. Okay, clear, is it? Okay, so in this way you have to do the RS nomenclature for the Fisher projection. Okay, so there also I can show you the these examples for flying wedge also. You have to keep in mind. I'll give you some examples of the flying wedge. So first of all, I will tell you that you can do the flying wedge, nomenclature by simply by conversion of the Fisher projection. This is one way. If you think that you will not keep in mind the formula of the flying wedge directly, so first way is that just convert it in the Fisher projection, then you can do it as nomenclature. If you want to do that directly, you can want to find out the RS nomenclature in flying wedge, then I will give you the rule also. Okay, so what is the rule? So first of all, flying wedge formula, that for example I'm giving you one example, that this way H CH3, you know, this is the flying wedge, HCH3 OH and Cl. This is the common example. Okay, now I'll give you that here the rule what I told you, the 4 back positive. Okay, 4 back positive means if 4th group, it is the back position. Okay, then clockwise direction will be r, and anti-clockwise direction will be s. But I told you, if fourth group, according to the priority order, 4th group is the back position. Just keep in mind in one way, if it is 4th is the back, 4th and 2 both are the same case. 4th and 2, if they are in the back position, back means this is the back position, actually this is the back position. If 4th and 2, either 4th or 2 in the back position, then positive, that means clockwise will be r, general case, and anti-clockwise will be s. Just keep in mind that general thing is that clockwise will be r, anti-clockwise will be s. Then you can just it will be opposite when some another number will be in this position. Like if it is 1 and 3, if this is the in the back position, then clockwise will be it will be s, and anti-clockwise will be, and clockwise will be s, and anti-clockwise will be r, just opposite. Okay, just opposite that of 2 4. So for 2 and 4, clockwise will be r, anti-clockwise will be s, but for 1 and 3, clockwise will be s and anti-clockwise will be r. Okay, just checking one example. Okay, there will be more clear for you. Okay, if we consider the one example, then look at the example. So if the example will be like this, if I draw this compound, then for example, just think it is a CH3, it is the C2H5, it is the H, and it is the OH. So first of all, what is your duty? Just give the priority order. So priority order, according to priority order 1, it will be 1. Okay, it will be 2, it will be 3, it will be 4. Okay, so when I'm considering the 4, just leave the 4. Okay, so you have to consider 1 2 3. So 1 2 or 1 2 3 means 4 back. We have to, which is the back, just leave this. Okay, in the flying wedge formula, in this type, what is your duty? Which will be in the back position, just leave it. Other orientation you have to show. So here you have to think about this. You have to think about this is the 1 2 3. So 1 2 3, it is the anti-clockwise direction. So if it is the anti-clockwise direction, 4 back, okay, 4 back anti-clockwise, so it will be general case S. 2 or 4 back anti-clockwise, it will be S. Okay, it is general case. I will give you another example, that if the compound is like that, if the compound is like that, like if it is, if here it is the CH3, here it is the H, here it is the OH, and here it is the C2H5. First of all, you have to give the priority order over here. So it is the 1, it is the 2, it is the 3, and it is the 4. So in this case, look here, 1 back, just leave the 1. Okay, so 2 3 4, just show the rotation order of 2 3 4, just show the rotation order of 2 3 4. This is the rotation order of 2 3 4. So 2 3 4 rotation order, what is the order? It is the 2 3 4 is the anti-clockwise. So if it is anti-clockwise, then general case, if it is 2 and 4 will be back side, it will be S, but here it will be R, because here at that moment 1 is the back position. So when 1 will be in the back position, then its opposite, clockwise R, anti-clockwise S, that it will be opposite with respect to this concept. So here it is the anti-clockwise, so it should be S, but here it will be R, because 1 is the back position. So in this way, you can write down the RS nomenclature for the flying wedge formula. Okay, so you have to practice a lot, and that's all for today, and also for the stereochemistry what we discussed till now. This is included in your syllabus. You have to practice a lot, and thanks for watching, and thank you. Meet with you in the next class with a new topic. Thank you.